Yeah, I mean, look, struggling in their world is slightly different to our world when you talk about goals. You are talking about, extreme levels of goals at times when they're really free-flowing a bit, themselves and Man City and the like, when they're really on it, they can score, fine goals from different places. Does that carry on forever? Probably not. Even when you're at the top sides, they probably have a quiet spell. They've had some injuries as well. We all know that. It's very important players. And they've got very good players across the board, but there's still reasons why some of them players become the top players. But no, I don't. I'm not overthinking the fact that they're maybe not as free flowing, because even when they're not, I don't know if you notice, they're still up there. They're still delivering. They're still winning. They're still getting points. They still delivered a good performance against Man U, who are in very good form. So I'm not overthinking that. I think we still have to be on top of ourselves and on top of our performance.
But going back to a place where you got one of your better results last season, that 1-1 draw.
Yeah, but only better results because we were playing at that time. They were run away with it. They were unbelievable last year, absolutely awesome at times. So that would make a bigger story. That's not the story of our season. It's a nice point in the season when you get points against teams with the prowess of Liverpool. But, the meat and veg of our season is certainly not just getting a point at Liverpool. There's more to it than that. But it was a good result against a top side who were free-flowing. And we were in good form ourselves at that side with, a lot of challenges. So I was very pleased at that time.
How would you compare them this season with last season from a tactical standpoint?
Well, the manager's spoken not about tactics as much, but about a lot of games, about, obviously injuries, and they've had players missing and stuff like that. So that's obviously an in-house situation. But outside of that, they still look a top outfit. They're still right up there. They're still delivering very good performances. They can still be effective in different ways. Even with the challenge of, I think Jordan Henderson playing centre-half the other night did a very good job. They still looked an effective side in that situation. They've got very good players. They've got a high confidence level from obviously their achievements of the last couple of seasons. And it kind of gets ingrained in them sides. Eventually they get that kind of ingrained confidence level that spreads amongst the group. So I don't for 1 minute think we go there thinking it's going to be easy, because it's quite clearly not. We offer the respect for everyone in the Premier League, most for our own self-respect. So when the whistle blows, we want to be ready to deliver our performance and see where it takes us.
Man United will tell everyone you need to be at physical peak to play Burnley. Liverpool are a bit short at centre-back. Is that something you're looking to exploit?
No, I don't think the physical side of our game, I think it's a strange one. People mention it often. I don't think we're overly physical. I wish we were more physical. I think our physical prowess as regards stats and facts and delivery of physical, as in mileage, as in sprint distance, I think that's good. I like that. You certainly have to deliver that against these sides, because one of the biggest changes when Jurgen came in, when Pep came in, other managers as well, but I'll just use them as an example, was the shift in the dynamic of the teams, and they were always good sides. They could always use the ball. They could always technically, defend properly and attack properly. But now they've brought in an energy level, to these performances from these sides. So you've certainly got to compete on that side of things. You've got to put in the miles. You've got to put in the sprint distance. You've got to put in all of the physical markers that you need to compete in the Premier League, regardless of who you're playing. And then, of course, you've got to work on top of that to find the chances and open up the opportunities while defending very well as a side. So that's often how the games pan out against these sort of sides. We're aware of that. It sounds easy when you talk about it like this. You're throwing it around, not so easy when that whistle blows. So we'll be ready and we'll take it on and see what happens.
And just to go back on that again, you mentioned Jordan Henderson playing centre-back and they had two centre midfielders there. Does that change the way you kind of approach the game?
No, I think they delivered a good performance the other night. We don't know, obviously, if other players will be fit. Top pro like Jordan Henderson slotted in, did his job. I think that it doesn't... there's the wrong word is to start talking about anything other than they're still a fine side, because you can get into a situation where you're kidding yourself, that this player's missing, that player's missing, and that somehow makes them less than what they are. Well, it doesn't really, because they're still top players and they can still find a way of doing the job.
But in the last 3 seasons, you've gone to Anfield and taken points off Liverpool twice. Given Liverpool's success at home, over the last 3 seasons, stretching back, in about 3.5 years, when obviously haven't been beaten, is there any sort of commonality in you going to Anfield and having some general success?
Well, we've obviously delivered a performance, usually a defensive performance, that's held us in good stead, because it's unlikely that you go to Anfield and not have to defend well. So I think that's just a given. I don't think it's a negative opinion. It's just an opinion on the truth, because we know they've got attacking style and attacking players and attacking quality. So you have to do that side of things. You have to make the big moments count, which we've done a couple of times there. And you have to find your way. They're peculiar games, these. They're not. There's other teams in the division. You think you can take on the sort of challenge a bit more evenly, if you like. Often, these challenges are different. If you've got a team that you've put together for 50 million and there's been put together for 500 million, there's probably going to be a difference there. So therefore, you've got to scrap that, move that out of thinking straight away. It becomes, 11 against 11. You've got to defend, well. You've got to do all the basics well. And you've got to have your key individuals who can open things and create things. You've got to have them play well as well, because you've still got to be in the game. You can't, I don't think it's as easy as people make out, all them days of saying park the bus and all that. It's not that easy, trust me. So you've got to find a balance, but often it starts with a good defensive base.